The Adventures of Lyra and Her Dragon. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a magical kingdom called Eldrita. The kingdom was ruled by a kind and just king, who was beloved by all of his subjects. However, the kingdom was plagued by an ancient curse, which caused crops to fail and brought famine to the land. One day, a young peasant girl named Lyra discovered that she possessed a rare and powerful magical ability. She could control the elements and summon rain to bring life to the parched earth. With her newfound powers, Lyra set out on a journey to lift the curse and save the kingdom. Lyra's journey took her through treacherous mountains, dark forests, and scorching deserts. Along the way, she met many strange and wonderful creatures, including talking animals, mischievous fairies, and fierce dragons. She also encountered many obstacles, such as treacherous bandits and deadly monsters. Despite the many challenges she faced, Lyra never gave up hope. She knew that she was the only one who could save the kingdom and its people. With her powers and her courage, she battled her way through the curse and finally reached the source of the curse. The source of the curse was an evil sorcerer, who had cast the curse in order to gain control of the kingdom. The sorcerer was powerful and dangerous, but Lyra was not afraid. She summoned all of her strength and used her powers to defeat the sorcerer and break the curse. With the curse lifted, the kingdom was restored to its former glory. Crops grew bountifully, and the people were happy and prosperous once again. King was so grateful to Lyra for saving his kingdom, and he made her a lady of the court. Chapter 2. The following day, Lyra set out on her journey to lift the curse. She packed a bag with some food and supplies, and said goodbye to her family and friends. As she walked along the road leading out of the village, she met an old man sitting by the side of the road. "Hello, young lady," the old man said. "Where are you headed?" "I am on a journey to lift the curse that plagues our kingdom," Lyra replied. The old man looked at her with a twinkle in his eye. "You are brave and determined, my child. But the journey ahead will not be easy. You will face many challenges and dangers." Lyra nodded. "I know, but I am not afraid. I must do this to save my people." The old man smiled. "Then I will give you a gift to help you on your journey. Take this magic cloak, it will protect you from harm and conceal you from your enemies." Lyra took the cloak and thanked the old man. She put it on and felt a warm and comforting feeling. "But be careful," the old man said. "You will only be able to use the cloak for a certain number of times before it loses its power. Use it wisely." Lyra nodded, and with a final goodbye, she set off on her journey, the cloak fluttering behind her in the wind. As she walked, she came across a group of bandits who were terrorizing a small village. They demanded that the villagers hand over all of their possessions or face the consequences. Lyra knew that she had to act fast. She wrapped herself in the magic cloak, and the bandits were unable to see her. She then used her powers to summon a gust of wind, which blew the bandits away and saved the village. The villagers thanked her and offered her a place to rest for the night. Lyra gratefully accepted and settled down for the night, feeling grateful for the old man's gift and her own powers. The next day, Lyra continued her journey, knowing that there were many more challenges ahead, but also feeling confident in her ability to overcome them. Chapter 3. After leaving the village, Lyra's journey took her through treacherous mountains, dark forests, and scorching deserts. She encountered many strange and wonderful creatures along the way, including talking animals, mischievous fairies, and fierce dragons. As she walked through a dense forest, she came across a clearing and saw a majestic dragon lying in the center of it. The dragon was enormous, with shimmering scales and a long, curved tail. Lyra was both awed and terrified by the dragon's presence. She knew that dragons were fierce creatures that could breathe fire and had razor-sharp claws. She thought about using the magic cloak, but she had already used it twice and decided to wait for a more urgent moment. The dragon looked up and saw Lyra standing at the edge of the clearing. It raised its head and spoke, "Who are you, and why are you in my forest?" Lyra stepped forward, keeping her distance from the dragon, and said, "I am Lyra, a peasant girl from the kingdom of Eldrita. I am on a journey to lift the curse that plagues my kingdom." The dragon looked at her with a curious expression. "I have heard of the curse that plagues your kingdom. But why do you think you can lift it? Many brave warriors and sorcerers have tried and failed." Lyra replied, "I possess a rare and powerful magical ability. I can control the elements and summon rain to bring life to the parched earth. I believe that I can use my powers to break the curse." The dragon thought for a moment and then said, "I will help you on your journey. But in return, you must promise to help me with a task that I have been unable to complete." Lyra was surprised but agreed to the dragon's terms. The dragon then took flight and led her to a hidden cave deep in the mountains. Inside the cave, there was a pool of water that was said to have healing properties. The dragon explained that it had been trying to reach the water for years, but the cave was guarded by a powerful demon that would not let anyone pass. Lyra knew that this would be a difficult task, but with her powers and the dragon's help, she was determined to overcome it. She used her powers to summon a powerful gust of wind that blew the demon back and allowed her and the dragon to reach the pool. The dragon dipped its claw into the water, and when it emerged, its wounds were healed and it could breathe fire again. The dragon thanked Lyra and said, "You have kept your promise, and I will keep mine. I will guide you to the source of the curse and help you break it." Lyra felt grateful for the dragon's help, and together they set off on the next leg of their journey, determined to lift the curse and restore the kingdom of Eldrita to its former glory. Chapter 4. With the dragon as her guide, Lyra's journey took her to the heart of the kingdom, where the source of the curse was said to reside. As they flew over the land, Lyra could see the devastation caused by the curse. Crops were withered and the earth was parched, and the people were suffering. As they approached the castle, the dragon warned Lyra, "Be careful, the sorcerer who casts the curse is powerful and dangerous. He will stop at nothing to keep his power." Lyra nodded and said, "I will be careful, but I must do this to save my people." The dragon landed on the castle's rooftop, and Lyra climbed down to the castle's entrance. She took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Inside, she found the sorcerer sitting on a throne, surrounded by dark creatures. He sneered at her and said, "You have made a grave mistake in coming here, peasant girl. You cannot defeat me." Lyra stood tall and said, "I am not here to defeat you, I am here to break the curse and restore the kingdom to its former glory." The sorcerer laughed. "You think you can break the curse? You are nothing but a foolish girl with a little bit of magic. You cannot break the curse without my consent, and I will never give it." Lyra knew that she had to act fast. She used her powers to summon a powerful storm, and bolts of lightning struck the sorcerer's dark creatures, turning them into dust. The sorcerer was furious, and he unleashed a powerful spell, but Lyra was ready. She used her powers to create a barrier that protected her from the sorcerer's spell. With the sorcerer's dark creatures defeated, Lyra approached him and said, "The curse is lifted, and the kingdom will be restored to its former glory. It's time for you to leave and let the people live in peace." The sorcerer knew that he was defeated, and he vanished in a puff of smoke. The kingdom was saved, and the curse was broken. Lyra emerged from the castle and saw the kingdom was restored to its former glory. The crops were bountiful, the rivers were flowing, and the people were happy and prosperous once again. The king was overjoyed and he thanked Lyra for saving his kingdom. He made her a lady of the court, and she was hailed as a hero throughout the land. Lyra lived happily ever after, her name remembered for generations to come as the one who lifted the curse and saved the kingdom of Eldrita. Chapter 5. After the curse was lifted, and the kingdom was restored, Lyra took some time to enjoy the peace and prosperity that had been restored. She traveled throughout the kingdom, meeting the people and visiting the villages that had been affected by the curse. As she traveled, she was greeted with cheers and gratitude from the people who had suffered under the curse. They thanked her for lifting the curse and restoring their land to its former glory. Lyra was happy to see the people of the kingdom happy and prosperous once again. However, she knew that her journey was not over yet. She had promised the dragon to help him with a task, and she intended to keep that promise. Lyra returned to the dragon's cave and found the dragon waiting for her. The dragon greeted her and said, you have kept your promise, and I will keep mine. I will guide you to the source of the curse and help you break it." Lyra thanked the dragon and asked, "What task do you need me to help you with?" The dragon replied, "I have a treasure that has been passed down through my family for generations. But it is hidden in a place that is difficult to reach, and I need your help to retrieve it." Lyra was curious and said, "I will help you with your task, but what is this treasure?" The dragon said, "It is a magical egg, that when hatched will bring a new dragon to the world, and it is said to bring prosperity and peace to the land it is born in." Lyra knew that this was an important task and agreed to help the dragon. Together, they set off on a new journey, this time to retrieve the dragon's treasure and bring a new dragon to the world. Their journey took them to a faraway land, where they had to overcome many challenges and obstacles. But with the dragon's guidance and Lyra's powers, they were able to retrieve the treasure and bring a new dragon to the world. The new dragon was welcomed with open arms, and it brought prosperity and peace to the land. The kingdom of Eldrita was even more prosperous than before, and the people were happy and content. Lyra had fulfilled her promise and helped bring a new dragon to the world. She returned to the kingdom and lived happily ever after, her name remembered for generations to come as the hero who saved the kingdom and brought a new dragon to the world. With their combined powers, determination, and resourcefulness, they were able to overcome all of these obstacles and retrieve the treasure, bringing a new dragon to the world and ensuring the prosperity and peace of the kingdom. Chapter 6. With the new dragon, the kingdom of Eldrita was even more prosperous than before. The dragon's presence brought new life to the land, and the crops grew bountifully. The rivers flowed freely, and the people were happy and content. Lyra was hailed as a hero throughout the land, and she was given a place of honor at the court. The king appointed her as the guardian of the new dragon, and she was responsible for its protection and well-being. Lyra took her new role seriously and spent much of her time with the dragon, learning about its needs and how to care for it. She also used her powers to create a special bond between herself and the dragon, which allowed them to communicate telepathically. As the years went by, the dragon grew to be a magnificent creature, and it became a beloved member of the kingdom. It helped with the farming, protecting the people, and even helped in trade by carrying goods across the land. But, as with any powerful and ancient magic, the sorcerer who cast the curse was not completely gone. He had a contingency plan. He had hidden a part of his soul inside the dragon's egg before Lyra and the dragon got to it. Years passed, and the sorcerer's soul grew stronger, and it began to corrupt the dragon's mind. It started to become more aggressive and unpredictable, causing trouble in the kingdom. Lyra was the only one who knew about the sorcerer's soul and its influence on the dragon. She knew that she had to act fast to save the dragon and the kingdom. She went on a journey, in search of a powerful sorcerer who could help her to remove the sorcerer's soul from the dragon's mind. After a long and difficult journey, she found the sorcerer and asked for his help. The sorcerer was reluctant, but after seeing the dragon's state, he agreed to help. With his powerful magic, he was able to remove the sorcerer's soul from the dragon's mind. The dragon was restored to its former self, and the kingdom was once again at peace. The dragon lived happily, and the kingdom prospered. Lyra was hailed as a hero once again, this time for saving the dragon and the kingdom from the sorcerer's final attempt to take control of Eldrita. Lyra spent the rest of her days in the kingdom, living happily ever after, her name remembered for generations to come as the hero who saved the kingdom twice and brought the dragon to the world. Chapter 7. With the kingdom at peace once again, Lyra decided to take some time for herself. She had spent many years on her journey and taking care of the dragon, and she wanted to see more of the world. She traveled to different lands, meeting new people and experiencing new cultures. She used her powers to help those in need and bring rain to parched lands. She was welcomed everywhere she went and was hailed as a hero and a bringer of life. During her travels, she met a young prince from a neighboring kingdom. He was kind, brave, and had a good heart, and she found herself falling in love with him. Lyra knew that she couldn't stay away forever, and she eventually returned to the kingdom of Eldrita. She told the king of her love for the prince, and he gave his blessing for their union. Lyra and the prince were married in a grand ceremony, and the kingdom celebrated. The dragon was there, and it was happy to see its friend happy. As the queen of Eldrita, Lyra used her powers to continue to help the kingdom and its people. She brought rain to the land, ensuring bountiful harvests, and she helped to strengthen the kingdom's alliances with neighboring lands. She and her husband had many children, and they were raised to be kind, brave, and just like their mother. They were taught to use their powers for good and to help those in need. The kingdom of Eldrita prospered under Lyra's rule, and her name was remembered for generations to come as a hero, a queen, and a bringer of life. And even after her death, her legacy lived on through her children and the dragon, who continued to bring prosperity and peace to the land. And so, the kingdom of Eldrita remained a peaceful and prosperous land, with the dragon and the royal family working together to keep the kingdom safe and strong. Lyra's powers and kindness had brought a lasting change in the kingdom, and she was remembered as a true hero, who brought peace and prosperity to the land, and a loving wife and mother to her family. Her story became a legend, and her deeds were passed down for generations, inspiring others to follow in her footsteps and make the world a better place. Chapter 8. Years passed and the kingdom of Eldrita continued to thrive under the rule of Lyra's descendants. But as the years went on, the people began to forget the true story of the curse and Lyra's role in breaking it. They began to believe that the dragon had always been a part of the kingdom, and that the prosperity and peace they enjoyed was a result of the dragon's presence alone. As the legend of Lyra and her deeds faded, a new threat emerged. A powerful sorcerer, who was envious of the kingdom's prosperity, decided to take control of the dragon and use it for his own gain. He used dark magic to control the dragon's mind and made it attack the kingdom's cities and towns. The people of the kingdom were frightened and desperate for a solution. They turned to the king, who was a descendant of Lyra, for help. The king knew that the only way to stop the sorcerer and save the dragon was to find a way to break the control on the dragon's mind. He remembered the stories of his ancestors' journey and her powers to control the elements. He knew that he had to find a way to do the same. He set out on a journey, in search of a powerful sorcerer who could help him break the control on the dragon's mind. After a long and difficult journey, he found a sorcerer who was able to teach him how to use his powers to control the elements and break the control on the dragon's mind. With this new knowledge, the king was able to break the sorcerer's control and save the dragon. The dragon was restored to its former self, and the kingdom was once again at peace. The people of the kingdom were grateful to the king for saving the dragon and for reminding them of the true story of the curse and Lyra's role in breaking it. The king was hailed as a hero, and he used his powers to help the kingdom and its people, just as his ancestor had done. And with the dragon's help, the kingdom continued to thrive and prosper for many years to come. Lyra's legacy lived on through her descendants and the dragon, reminding future generations of the sacrifices made to bring peace and prosperity to the land. And her story was passed down from generation to generation, so that it would never be forgotten. Chapter 9. As time passed, the kingdom of Eldrita continued to thrive under the wise rule of Lyra's descendants. The dragon played an important role in the kingdom's prosperity, and it was treated with the utmost respect and care. But, as with all powerful magic, there were those who sought to use the dragon for their own gain. A group of neighboring kingdoms, envious of Eldrita's prosperity, formed an alliance to take control of the dragon and use it for their own benefit. The king of Eldrita, aware of the threat, knew that he had to act fast to protect his kingdom and the dragon. He gathered his bravest warriors and set out to defend the kingdom and the dragon. The battle was fierce and many lives were lost, but the king and his warriors were able to defeat the invaders and protect the kingdom and the dragon. The dragon, grateful for the king's protection, swore to defend the kingdom and its people forever. From that day on, the dragon became the protector of the kingdom, and it was given a special place in the kingdom's history and culture. The king, in honor of the dragon's loyalty and bravery, declared that the dragon would be a symbol of the kingdom's strength and prosperity, and that it would be honored and protected for generations to come. The kingdom of Eldrita continued to thrive and prosper, and the dragon played a vital role in the kingdom's protection and prosperity. Lyra's legacy lived on through the dragon and her descendants, reminding future generations of the sacrifices made to bring peace and prosperity to the land. And her story was passed down from generation to generation, so that it would never be forgotten. As the time passed, the kingdom of Eldreda was known as the land of the dragon, and its people were proud of the dragon. They celebrated its existence and honored it as the protector of the kingdom. And the kingdom remained peaceful, prosperous, and strong for many years to come. Chapter 10. As the years passed, the dragon grew old and eventually passed away. The people of the kingdom were devastated at the loss of their protector and symbol of prosperity. The dragon's body was buried with honors and ceremonies. It was placed in a grand tomb, which was built in its honor, and it was visited by many people, who came to pay their respects. But, the dragon's passing left a void in the kingdom. The people of Eldreda realized that the dragon's protection and prosperity was not just due to the dragon's existence, but also the sacrifices of the people who had protected it and the kingdom. They understood that the true protector of the kingdom was the spirit of its people, who were willing to make sacrifices to protect it. The king, who was a descendant of Lyra, knew that it was important to keep the dragon's legacy alive. He called upon the sorcerers and wise men of the kingdom to create a new dragon, one that would be a symbol of the kingdom's strength and prosperity, just like the original dragon had been. The sorcerers and wise men worked tirelessly, and after many years of hard work, they were able to create a new dragon. The dragon was smaller than the original one, but it possessed the same powers, and it was able to protect the kingdom and bring prosperity to the land. The people of the kingdom were overjoyed at the arrival of the new dragon, and they welcomed it with open arms. The dragon became the new symbol of the kingdom's strength and prosperity, and it was honored and protected for generations to come. The kingdom of Eldreda continued to thrive and prosper, and the dragon played a vital role in the kingdom's protection and prosperity. Lyra's legacy lived on through the dragon and her descendants, reminding future generations of the sacrifices made to bring peace and prosperity to the land. And her story was passed down from generation to generation, so that it would never be forgotten. The kingdom of Eldreda was known as the land of dragons, and its people were proud of their dragons. They celebrated their existence and honored them as the protectors of the kingdom. And the kingdom remained peaceful, prosperous, and strong for many years to come.